Hey guys, how's it going? Wooksy here, and today I'm going to be showing you my mid-game Fireflies build. You kind of have two options for mid-game, which is like you can go Fireflies or you can go Pyrokinetic Disorder. There's some other builds you can go, but for right now I'm going to be focusing on those two. So this one's going to be the Firefly build. As you can see, the Fireflies are just flying around super fast. Now, we pretty much use the exact same build we used in our beginning Pyromancer build guide, so just max out Fireflies, Fire Nova, Burning, Third Degree Burns, Rest and Extended Flames. As you can see, our resists are pretty insane. If I didn't have the 270 resists, I would actually drop my, whatever ring's called, Satanic Eye, for a different ring, probably like an Eye of Ra or a Kodos, something like that. Our reduction went up quite a bit compared to the last video. Our mana regen did go down, and we don't have any mana per hit. We do have life per hit, which is really nice. Our crit went up a ton, because we're actually able to crit stack a little bit. And the reason for that is because we can go Raven's Claw. Now I know a lot of people undervalue this item, but if you compare this to this is basically a very good starting item. And you're going to be moving into something like a Steve's or a Chase Amulet. You really don't have any other options besides like a Raven's Claw or a Pendant of Eternity, something like that. But chose Ravenclaw. It is unfortunate we don't get the all stats, so we're missing the armor, we're missing the energy, but we do gain all the crit, the attack speed, all that good stuff. The fire damage is a lot higher, so overall, very good amulet for starting out on a crit build. Now, you have two choices you can go on this build. If you decide not to go crit, you can drop the Iris and use Staff of Nether Flame. As you can see, they both have extremely high fire damage. This one is essentially just the crit version of this, but this one does give +4 Fireflies, so your damage is going to be more consistent with something like this, but the crit is obviously going to be a lot stronger. I prefer the crit one, mainly because it does give you more energy and stamina. You do lose the block chance, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. We still have our Preacher, which there's a Preacher Shadow Buckler setup you can do. I'm not really too interested in showing that. I don't think it's worth it. But for the helmet, we're going to use Burning Gaze. It has a lot of crit, CDR. It's a really good helmet overall. The other option we can do is the Faceless Priest, and this is if you don't go crit, right? This is if you go just standard, so you'd mana stack a little bit for a little bit of a mana shield to help protect you. But this is a really strong helmet regardless, because it does give you a ton of energy, and it's just, yeah, it's overall really good. It gives you a little bit of ability power, attack power, which, you know, that does add up over time compared to the other ones. Now, there's two options we can go here. We can go for Rainbow, or we can go for like Flaming Coin for the set. I decided for Rainbow because we're already overcapped on CDR, and this doesn't have as much elemental damage as a Rainbow would have, and you also get the huge amount of energy, strength percent, movement speed. So overall, I value Rainbow just a little bit better, but if push comes to shove, there is this, and it is a decent item, so you gain the armor, you know, things like that. But I do opt to go for the chest because it has a ton of HP, ton of fire damage, good ability power, attack speed, and overall it's just a really good chest to have in that slot. But you could go for Grand Wizard's Robe if you're not going crit, with the Faceless Mask, or the Faceless Priest. And then you can use like a Stone of Jordan for the mana percentage, and then go Staff of the Nether Flame, and you'll have a pretty good setup that way. And that way you won't be as squishy, but I do like this version a little bit better. You can use Heavy Duty or Monkey Skin belt. I use the Monkey Skin just because it gives more armor, gives you all talents, CDR, movement speed, and damage reduction. So those are all extremely good stats to have. Again, I'd get rid of my Satanic Eye if I had 2 more of the resist not at 70, because I just don't want to be stacking resist gems. But if I could get rid of that, I'd probably go like Lucky Loop or even a Demon Eye Ring, because those are both great options to start out with. You definitely want to use the Hands of Flame because they're just pretty insane for the build. The crit damage is an extra roll. I got lucky with that one, so I decided to keep it, and it works perfect with the build because we're going crit. So yeah, it's pretty good gloves. Oops. For the potion, there's a lot of options you can do here. Personally, I'd probably get like a Praetorian Blood with plus talents, but this is just assuming cheap of cheap gear. So I picked up the Megadai Elixir, so our elemental damage is a little bit higher, and absolute power is actually really strong now due to how elemental damage has changed. So the 1000 elemental damage is actually like absolutely huge. As you can see, like that's almost half of an item depending the item. So very strong. Then we go for the boots lastly. Just overall good. Good ability power, attack power, CDR, HP, damage reduction. So it just allows you to have a nice overall fleshed out build. Now, since we are overcapped on our CDR quite a bit, as you can see, we're overcapped by 22%, and this has 24%, so what we could do is we can get like a Knight's Girdle, and that way you'd have more block, more HP, more all stats, and yeah, that's just another good option. So, but with this, let's go ahead and go run a Health 5 Anubis run, just to compare it to our previous run. For our hero levels, we do go HP, armor, because obviously we're not block capping. We do go crit damage. God's Wrath is actually really good though, but I like the crit damage here. It's going to carry you a lot farther, I think, than the elemental damage would, just because we don't have a ton of elemental damage to stack. And then I go for the Divine Shield because I don't like my mobs getting pushed around everywhere, even though these do help with the damage. It's not really worth it to me because I'd rather be able to take more damage since I do build these builds for hardcore. Now, I didn't get to show you my relics in the last video. This isn't perfectly optimized. Like, I would get rid of Storm Dagger, Charmed Blood, I would get rid of that one. I would try to pick up more armor and probably HP, so I'd probably get like Jeffrey's, whatever it's called, Jeffrey's box or whatever, which is the 5% stamina, 1% strength, and then you could swap out the Charmed Blood for, oh geez, there's a lot of options. You can go for like Silver Armor, Damned Buckler, Silver Axe if you want the attack power with the 3% armor. We already have a Golden Dagger, so we're fine on our energy, but you could go for like Silver Dagger if you just want more energy. You can go for Magnet, for Mining Helmet, pretty much whatever you want. The main thing here that's super important out of any of these relics is the mana dice, because this build, again, you use a lot of mana. and you will yourself extremely quickly without mana dice. So even with it, you could still possibly make yourself go out of mana. So um, the magic dice is very nice, so when it does proc, it just gives you additional mana. So definitely worth picking up. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that Anubis run. And that way I can go ahead and make the new video of the other build. So as you can see, health 5, this is just super easy. Actually need to turn off items on this. Yeah, so it's not a one-shot for your damage, but it's, you know, it's good damage. So we can actually do a comparison right now with the mana version. Let's see, or the non-crit version. Just go ahead, grab that. I don't think I'm worried about the rest. Yeah, so let's just go ahead, run with this real quick. And I will show you the difference. But as for stats, we gained a little bit more reduction. The HP stayed around the same. We did definitely get more mana, so our mana regen isn't going to be nearly an issue at all. Like, yeah, our mana is absolutely fine. One thing you could tell that is different with the builds is that my movement speed is a little bit slower, and I am not just one-shotting a lot of these mobs. But my burn damage is going to be a lot higher, and I'll show you why. This weapon comes with an ability enchant, so it actually helps quite a bit. Yeah, so that kill was pretty on par, if not even maybe a little faster. But this staff gives you Eternal Flames. Now the tooltip is incorrect right now. It says your attacks apply a singular stack of burning on the target, dealing substantial damage. That's not what it does. What it does is it gives you 300% fire damage. So just keep that in mind. That will be changing. But yeah, other than that, that is the Pyro build. It's fairly straightforward and simple. And I will go ahead and see you guys in the next video, and I hope you enjoyed.